is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is, perhaps, the end of the beginning. So I would like to welcome all to the closing ceremony of the residential certificate course on human rights and humanitarian law. Firstly, before moving ahead with the schedule, I would like to welcome the chief guest for the program, Deputy Inspector General, respected Raju Aryal sir from Armed Police Force, Nepal. Professor of the Executive Director and Principal of Kathmandu School of Law. I would also like to welcome Professor Geeta Pathak Sumrola, who is also the residential professor and is a professor in charge International Law and Relations Study Center, who was the organizing partner for this program, and academic convener Asia Pacific Masters Program. Similarly, I would also like to welcome Professor Hong Kong Ranaso, who is the academic in charge. I would also like to welcome Associate Professor Prem Chandra Rai sir, who is the Professor of Now, to begin with the formal program, I'd like to request Professor Hong Kong Ranaso for the welcome speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxy. Kathmandu School of Law. On behalf of the Kathmandu School of Law, I would like to extend my sincere welcome, warm welcome to all of you in this closing ceremony. Hopefully, the session on human rights and humanitarian law, the most important aspect of the student and the armed police force. The subject which are very crucial for all type of professionals in these days, and to solve the purpose, Armed Police Force and Kathmandu School of Law jointly organized this residential certificate course. And personally, I do hope that all the participants are highly benefited and will tremendously help to develop the professionalism in the respective field. Once again, I would like to welcome to the chief guest of the day, this closing ceremony, and all the participants present over here. Thank you very much.
Raju Sharma, Raju Aryal, I'm sorry, and my colleagues from Kathmandu School of Law, and officers of the Armed Police Force who have been actively participating, and the students. We take FORD as a very small course, and we often think that no right to be tired in FORD. This is just a peanut course for university. So hopefully you're not tired. As I very rightly pointed out in the very beginning of this program, that the relation of security agencies and people of Nepal is quite unique in South Asia. It is in fact very praiseworthy, and it is very immersing, though not very obvious so far, but comparing to the relation between security agencies and common people in other countries in our part of the region is quite unusual in comparison to Nepal. Here, what very nice thing that we often observe is that both sides, common people have been evolving more respects to the security agencies, and security agencies have been understanding needs of people. So there is a journey from both sides to go to the closer to each other, and this is very unique, which we have not been able to properly emphasize and properly communicate to other institutions in this part. As I said you that day, it's quite unusual and often unexpected or undesirable also in South Asian countries to have students of law and officers of the security agency sit together and discuss like very good friends. This is quite unique. We emphasize this kind of program because students who we think are going to take up the responsibility of the judicial system of the country and the legal system of the country in future should learn discipline from the security agencies. So that's one of the reasons we keep our political and many other sectors. It's very rapidly going through over the last some years. We also want security personnel to be with students with the view that so they will develop the vigor of doing more research and putting emphasis on learning process, because a security agency personnel should always be engaged in research and forming new policies, because time changes. With the change of the time, new technologies occur, and with the new change of time and the technologies, they have to devise their system accordingly. So this is how I think our unique culture is being immersed in Nepal. So though this is a 5 days small program, but if you see the seed, if you look it from the point of view of the seed, one day this seed may grow so well and very nice fruits would be created, which definitely will transform a very positive relations between civilians and the security agencies to carry out the development of this country. So from looking from that perspective, this is a very, very important program. So how much did we learn with the 5 days is not very important. How much did we spark the interest to learn more in the days to come is very important. And how many days this program had been utilizing is not very important, but what very significant seed it has planted to grow a bigger plant in the days to come is very important. With these words, this program definitely has established a milestone. As we discuss, a couple of minutes more that I should speak. As we discuss a lot, we try to understand human rights from a different perspective. We have encouraged ourselves to learn human rights from a different philosophy. And we have tried to understand that human right is not a rhetoric or technical formal aspect of understanding. Human rights relates to development. Human rights relates to overall situation of the society, and human right also relates to the special professionalism each institution has to go with. So therefore, in the days to come, I hope that Armed Police Force in its human right training course will definitely do something very important to relate human rights issues with the need of the economic and social development of the society. Therefore, we talked about social development without security planning is not possible. Second very important thing that we discussed very eminently is like national security is not a rhetoric to. National security ultimately is a very good fruit we achieve through very nice and very smooth and stable socio-economic development. And for that we discussed that international trade, productive enterprises within the country, and most importantly, a very productive education is also vital for that. what we often say is like an ignorant person do not understand the value of patriotism. An ignorant person also do not understand the importance of bilateral relation between two countries. An ignorant person do not have much more, need more than food. So therefore, we have to transform entire population to a very educated mass. Only that mass can support, can help building of better national security. And we said, and we discussed very strongly that armed police being in between the Nepal police and military and has with a very special responsibility to protect the border, plays very crucial roles of protecting national security, which has not so much discussed as of now. So we encourage all participants in the discussion that as a security force, armed police should not only take the physical structure of the border, but it should also see how important is national security connected with the protection of the border. Therefore, we talked about technology, and we talked about a lot of problems security force, as a security force looking after border, armed police is facing in the border. So there are a couple of things that I should very much request to DIG Ariel to bring to the higher official level discussion. One very important issue that we discussed that day, and we thought that it's very important in the sense that without that, national security is not possible to protect because border remains very fragile. One, we said, if survey maps in digital and GS system as well as the paper form is not made accessible to armed police exactly as it has been developed by the Survey Department of Nepal, it is not possible for armed police force to protect the border. This is one very important issue, I think. The leadership of armed police force should discuss within the institution and then try to find out the policy interventions through dialogue with the survey department or the executive government of Nepal. It definitely demands, with this responsibility to look after the border, that armed police force within the border security department must have a very competent survey department, appointing very competent, a core group of very important engineers who can help the officers and personnel in the border to locate the reality, locate the true fact of the border, whether this is working or not working. So that's another very important thing we discussed. We had a very long historical descriptions discussed, and we had a kind of reflection that this country has been the only country in South Asia which has been existing without any interruptions from the day of the establishment. There were so many states established in South Asia, from Gandhara state, the first state in South Asia today, but none of them are there today. All of them disappeared, and today we have in that territory a country called Sri Lanka, a country called Bangladesh, a country called India, and Pakistan and Bhutan. But we are the only country which has such a marvelous history. So this history needs to be recorded. So I would also like to request DIG Ariel to take masses from this program to the higher level leaderships to discuss that. The armed police force should, in relation to the border again, understand its history, its border in the history, and today, and write down a very significant history of the territory of Nepal and record it. This is very important. So these were very important issues that we discussed. Similarly, we discussed a number of other issues in relation to human rights. So we realized that there is enough human rights discussion, but there are certain issues raised by some organization within the country and from outside the country who actually know that that's not true, but they keep raising this kind of issue to create some problem or demeaning the institution and the image of the institution. And we should be very careful. So I should also make a request to DIG Ariel that the institution of armed police should have its intelligence very, very smart and look at who are doing what kind of obvious to demeaning this institution, and should prepare a very strong group inside to counter this kind of thing. Therefore, one very important request that we should make, as we discussed in the program, is like armed police force should create a kind of institution or kind of mechanism inside where there is possibility of regular discussion or discourse among public intellectual of this country and the officers of armed police force, so that these people will be able to defend the institution. So we somehow considered that in comparison to Nepal military and police, armed police institutionalized discourse with the public intellectual is not adequate. So in the days to come, there should be a regular kind of practice of having discussion on this. For example, there are a lot of activities and a lot of affairs taking place in international community. Sometimes there is attack in one country. Take for example Venezuela. Our leader made some statements, and there was a statement from the American president. There was a statement from India, China, and all. How should we think about it? So there should be discussion on this kind of thing. So therefore, the intellectuality or the intellect of the institution will grow very high that way. So that was another very important issue that we discussed. Similarly, one very important lacking that we find is the continuous education of the officers and upgrading of their knowledge with a kind of formal degree. So there was a very nice proposal yesterday. I was asked by the military that there are a lot of officers in Nepal Army who want to go through the master degree course that Kathmandu School of Law has for the security agencies. So I said that it's possible to do that. So why not Armed Police Force has this program enlisting like 20 students, and our professors go to armed police officers and take a class over there, and they will appear in the exam. So they will have a formal degree of human rights and humanitarian law. So that is a very benign support that Kathmandu School of Law can extend, and that will benefit dozens of officers who have a bright future, also will have a bright knowledge of human rights and humanitarian law. So I would also like to request DIG Ariel to take this issue for the discussion, and if it is possible, like we can make it club with the military personnel and the armed police personnel, sometime class being taken in the military headquarters and sometime being in kind of classes taken in the armed police headquarters. This will, in my opinion, will also enhance the relation of friendship between military officers and the armed police officers. And when you, the officers at this stage will grow to the leadership, I think that would be a kind of basis for more mutual cooperation between two institutions. So this is how we thought this kind of training will help building in a different way. We should know that country is in a problem. We should know that there are a lot of conspiracies of different interest groups. We are in geopolitical situation, so the Westerners do not come to destroy us here, but they want to use our territory because they have to contain India and China. So this is the situation. So we often fall in trap of their strategy. China and India has their own classical, conventional controversies and confrontation, though they have a big trade now, they are friendly countries now. But each wants to somehow contain another, therefore they also play against each other, and again they use our territory. And thirdly, when these different agencies play in Nepal, we become quite confused and we don't know who is doing what. So we see things are going normal, but things are not going normal. So in the past we have seen that. So if public intellectual and officers have a kind of mechanism to discuss these issues frequently, you will tell us what is the problem of security, and we will help you to bring these issues to the attention of the government, and we can bring you the information, what is happening internationally, and tell to you, you will be benefited, what kind of dynamics within this kind of games. Therefore, security agencies and the civilians can benefit with each other. So this was the core message this training has given. This is the post beginning, and I think in the days to come, this will grow as a kind of practice, so it will not be the end. And hopefully, going back, all the participants definitely will refer to the advantage of this training. Yes, there are some problem in this because you were new to this kind of program, and we were also new to this kind of program. But in the days to come, this same program can be organized in a better way. More intellectually sound people can be invited to do the classes, and methodology can be changes. The time can be looked into, and this same program can be made better productive in the days to come. So with this word, I would like to congratulate all the participants for very successfully completing the course, and I can see that from the faces you are not unhappy. At the last, I mean, nobody wants to go from this place. So this is the charm of the place. And especially when this kind of thing happen, everybody wants to stay here. So that was the choice that I looked this place to be selected, though it's far from Kathmandu. But we remain completely in peace. We forget everything. Problem, crises, families, and everything. Therefore, we will have some time to live in peace. So with this word, I would like to end my remarks. Thank you very much.
The School of Law has been sharing this kind of emotional and academic bonding from their very inception. We believe that this residential program is, as we all know, first and of its own kind to develop this kind of relationship, and we also hope for the continuing relationship in days to come. From Kathmandu School of Law, I would like to owe our law enforcement officials the highest respect, and with this note, I would like to welcome our chief guest, DIZ Raju Aryal sir, for his remarks.
म केही पनि छैन, मलाई थाहा छैन, भोग्याबुलरी नै थाहा छैन। तर जस्तो हामीले बच्चाहरूलाई, छोरालाई चाहिँ बाबु यता आइस्यो, यता गइस्यो भनिन्छ नि, त्यो उसलाई सिकोस्, जानोस्। अरू कुरा चाहिँ नराम्रो भन्दा पनि राम्रो कुराबाट सिकोस् भन्ने हिसाबले हो। थ्याङ्क यू सो मच सर, थ्याङ्क यू प्रोफेसर म्याम, थ्याङ्क यू प्रोफेसर सर। यो 5 दिने यस रेसिडेन्सियल सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स अनि ह्युमन राइट्स एन्ड ह्युमेनिटेरियन लको समापन कार्यक्रममा उपस्थित काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका कार्यकारी निर्देशक सध्य प्राध्यापक डाक्टर युवराज सङ्ग्रौलाज्यू, प्राध्यापक म्याम गीता पाठक सङ्ग्रौलाज्यू, प्राध्यापक सरहरू, कार्यक्रम सञ्चालक वर्ग, यस आम पुलिस फोर्सका अफसर साहबहरू, स्कुल अफ लका विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, साथै उपस्थित सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरू, सर्वप्रथम यस समापन समारोहमा प्रमुख अतिथिको रूपमा पूर्व तय गरिनुभएका हाम्रा सङ्गठन प्रमुख सशस्त्र प्रहरी महानिरीक्षक शैलेन्द्र खनालज्यू यस कार्यक्रममा सहभागी हुन विशेष कारणले पाउनु भएन। यसको लागि उहाँको तर्फबाट म हार्दिक क्षमा प्रार्थी रहेको छु। र यो अघि सरको धेरै कुराहरू यहाँ सुनियो, बुझ्यो, बोर्डर सेक्युरिटी कुरा, डिजास्टर म्यानेजमेन्टको कुरा, काउन्टर टेररिजम अपरेसनको कुराहरू, काउन्टर इन्सर्जेन्सी इन्भाइरोमेन्टको कुराहरू, धेरै कुराहरू हामीमा ल्याक छ। यो कुराहरू चाहिँ हामीले यो आजसँगै प्रतिवेदन पनि लिन्छौँ पार्टिसिपेन्टबाट। र मैले बाटोमा आउँदा सोचेको कुराहरू के भने यो सिभिल मिलिटरी रिलेसनसिप CMRको धेरै कोर्सहरू छ, रिलेसन बिट्विन सेक्युरिटी फोर्सेस एन्ड सिभिलियनको धेरै कुराहरू छ। तर सिभिलियनमा पनि अलिकति क्याटेगोराइज अब गरेर इन्टेलेक्चुअल र आफ्नो प्रोफेसनलमा कुन चाहिँ अलिकति चाहिँ स्पेसलाइज ग्रुप छ, त्यो ग्रुपसँग चाहिँ हामी अलिकति नजिक हुनुपर्ने आजको आवश्यकता छ। यो ग्रुपको लागि जति युवराज सरले र काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लले आर्म पुलिस फोर्सलाई माया गरेर अलिअलि के सिकाएको छ, त्यो फिल्डमा देखिँदै पनि आएको छ र अझै त्यो देखिन्छ भन्ने विश्वास पनि म सरलाई जानकारी गराउन पनि चाहन्छु। अब स्थापनाको अवस्थादेखि नै आजसम्म आइपुग्दा हाम्रो देशको राजनैतिक, वातावरणीय, पर्यावरण एवं आर्थिक स्थिति लगायत विश्व राजनीतिक परिवेशमा ठुलो परिवर्तन आइरहेको छ। सुरक्षा वातावरणमा विद्रोही र सुरक्षा खोज मात्र हुन्छन् भन्ने जुन एउटा परम्परागत मान्यता थियो, अब यो परिवर्तन भइसकेको छ। यो बाहेक देशको आन्तरिक राजनीति, देशको अवस्थिति, क्षेत्रीय सङ्गठनहरू, सरकारका नीतिहरू, अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सङ्गठन, बहुराष्ट्रिय कम्पनीहरू, प्रभाव समूहहरू, विज्ञान, प्रविधि तथा सूचना प्रविधिमा भएका परिवर्तनहरूले गर्दा सुरक्षा निकायलाई अझ चनाखो र हरपल अपडेट भइराख्नुपर्ने आजको अवस्था रहेको छ। मलाई सम्झना छ, जब नेपाल द्वन्द्वको स्थितिमा थियो त्यति बेला सुरक्षा निकायका हामी जस्तो कर्मचारीहरूलाई जुनसुकै तरिकाले पनि आफ्नो टास्क पुरा गर्ने एउटा जिम्मेवारी आउँथ्यो, त्यसलाई आदेशको रूपमा लिनुपर्ने एउटा अवस्था थियो। त्यति बेला मानव अधिकारको पढाइ हुन्थ्यो, सिलेबसमा हुन्थ्यो, एउटा बुकलेट हुन्थ्यो, मानव अधिकार भन्ने शब्द थाहा थियो, वाट इज ह्युमन राइट्स भन्ने कुरा हामीलाई थाहा थिएन। यही अवसरमा मैले के भन्छु भने सबैले बुझेको कुरा, मानव अधिकार भनेको अरूको अधिकारको रक्षा हामीले गर्ने होइन, वी हेभ टु प्रोटेक्ट आवर राइट्स। आफ्नो अधिकार रक्षा गर्नको लागि हामीले यो पढेको छौँ, अरूको लागि होइन। हामीलाई धेरैलाई त्यस्तो लाग्छ अरूको रक्षा गर्नलाई हामीलाई पढाइएको छ, हामीलाई चाहिँ फोर्सफुल्ली सिकाएको छ, त्यस्तो होइन। हामी आफै रक्षा गर्दैछौँ, त्यो कुरा चाहिँ हामी सबैले बुझ्नुपर्छ। र यस्तो द्वन्द्वको स्थितिमा ह्युमेनिटेरियन लको बारेमा पनि जुन कुराहरू हामीले स्कुल अफ लले सिकाइरहेको छ, यसको जतिसुकै हामीले प्रशंसा गर्दा पनि कमै हुन्छ। यस्ता अधिकारहरूको उल्लङ्घनका कारणले गर्दा शान्ति प्रक्रियाको सुरुवातसँगै हाम्रा कतिपय अवसरहरू कारबाही हुन पनि बाध्य भए र स्टिल कतिपय मान्छेहरू अवसरहरू चाहिँ कारबाहीको प्रक्रियामा पनि छन्। यसमा ज्ञानको कमी भएकै चाहिँ हामीले महसुस गरेका छौँ। युद्धका समयमा सैनिक कमान्डरहरूले त्यस समयमा मानव अधिकारहरूको उल्लङ्घन गरेको कारणले 50औं वर्षपछि 100औं वर्षपछि पनि उनीहरूलाई दोषी ठहर गरी सजायहरू भएको उदाहरणहरू पनि हाम्रो सामान्य छन्। अरूलाई परेको कुराहरू पनि यो मलाई पर्न सक्छ र हामीलाई नै परेको भन्ने खालको धारणा हामीले बनाउन सक्यौँ भने भोलि काम गर्ने दिनमा सजिलो हुन्छ भन्ने मलाई विश्वास लागेको छ। एउटा सशस्त्र प्रहरीको अधिकृत र देशको जिम्मेवार नागरिक हैसियतले हामीले बुझ्नुपर्ने कुरा के हो भने हाम्रो मानव अधिकार र मानवीय कानुनका नियमहरू जुन बेसिक कुराहरू छन्, यिनीहरू चाहिँ हाम्रो स्ट्यान्डर्ड अपरेटिङ प्रोसिड्युर नै हुन् र यिनीहरूलाई हामी जहिले पनि म्यान्डेटरीको रूपमा लिनुपर्छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ। हामीले बुझ्नै पर्ने कुरा के हो भने यी नियमहरू पहिला हाम्रो लागि हो र हामी व्यावसायिक जीवनलाई व्यावसायिक ढङ्गले अगाडि बढाउन अत्यावश्यक पनि छन् भन्ने कुरा पनि मनमा लिइराख्नु आवश्यक छ। यसको सम्मान, जगेर्ना र प्रवर्तनले जनताका अधिकारहरू सुनिश्चित गर्दछन् र त्यो जनताभित्रै हाल्ने पनि पर्छ भन्ने कुरा सधैँभरि मनन गर्नु आवश्यक छ। यस्तो महत्त्वपूर्ण विषय जुन सेक्युरिटी फोर्सको प्रत्येक क्रियाकलापसँग सम्बन्धित छ, यस्तो उपयोगी शैक्षिक कार्यक्रम सञ्चालनको पहलताको लागि जुन काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लले सशस्त्र बल नेपालको तर्फबाट मेजोरिटी अफ हाम्रो स्टुडेन्टहरू यहाँ सहभागी गराइदिनु भएकोमा अब यसको लागि पुनः एकचोटि हार्दिक बधाई पनि दिन्छु। र मेरो एउटा अलिकति रिक्वेस्ट पनि सरलाई के भने हाम्रो सबै अफसरहरू हाम्रो आर्म पुलिस फोर्सको भयो, यसमा स्टुडेन्ट साथीहरू पनि अलिकति कम्तीमा 1:1 त्यो खालको भयो भने कम्तीमा इन्टरेक्सनको हिसाबले पनि यो कानुनको कुराहरू, यहाँको अन्य एजुकेसनका कुराहरू पनि यो 4 दिनको भन्दा पनि के अरे क्लासको सेसन भन्दा पनि अरू टाइममा अलिक बढी सिक्ने मौका मिल्थ्यो कि भन्ने मेरो सरलाई एउटा सानो रिक्वेस्ट पनि छ। हाम्रो काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लसँग लामो समयदेखि नै सहकार्य रहँदै आएको छ। हामी आफैले पनि अस्तिको यो 2 वर्ष एउटा प्रोजेक्ट थियो जुनमा मैले टर्टल सम्बन्धी र ह्युमन राइट्स सम्बन्धी मेरो प्रोजेक्ट परेको थियो। सरलाई याद छैन होला, याद छ होला सायद, रेडिसन होटेलमा मैले जाहेर गरेको थिएँ। ह्युमन राइटको सम्बन्धमा प्रत्येक मान्छेले हाम्रो अहिले जुन सशस्त्र प्रहरी बलको नम्बर छ, प्रत्येक नम्बरले ह्युमन राइटको बेसिक कुराहरू बुझ्छ र त्यो सिकाउँछु भन्ने मैले सल्लाह त्यही प्रतिबद्ध गरेको छु। अहिले संयोगले म ट्रेनिङ डिरेक्टरेटमै छु। सिलेबस बनाउने हाम्रो चाहिँ सबै सिलेबस बनाउनेहरू अहिले काम पाठ्यक्रम बनाउने कामहरू भएको छ। त्यसमा हामी चाहिँ यसलाई विशेष फोकस दिएर राखेको कुरा पनि सरलाई यसै अवसरमा म जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। तालिमले मानिसको स्किल, एटिच्युड र पर्सेप्सनमा परिवर्तन आउनुपर्छ भन्ने सिद्धान्त छ, जुन यस कार्यक्रमले ल्याउन सफल भएको छ। यसमा साह्रै खुसी लागेको छ। अहिले म सशस्त्र प्रहरी बल मानव स्रोत विकास विभाग अन्तर्गतको तालिम निर्देशालयमा कार्यरत छु। मानव संसाधनको विकास गर्ने महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका निर्वाह गर्ने तालिमहरूलाई समयानुकूल रूपमा परिवर्तन गर्ने काम हामीले अहिले गरिरहेको छ। यो अवस्थामा विश्व परिवेशमा भइरहेका गतिविधिहरू तथा सुरक्षाका आयामहरूमा भइरहेका परिवर्तनहरूलाई बुझ्न र त्यस सँगसँगै अगाडि बढ्न सक्ने क्षमता विकास गराउनु मुख्य उद्देश्य रहेको छ। यसमा मानव अधिकारको सम्मान, प्रवर्तन र जगार्न आफ्नै निम्ति हो भन्ने खालको भावनाको विकास हुने गरी पाठ्यक्रमको निर्माण भइरहेको समेत यसै अवसरमा जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। र पाठ्यक्रम एवं पेशी निर्माणको अहिले हामी एकदम चरणमा सबैको फोकस त्यसमा लागेको हुनाले यस काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लको पार्टिसिपेन्टहरू र टाइम भयो भने सरहरूलाई पनि हामी कुनै एउटा प्रशिक्षक गोष्ठी र पाठ्यक्रम गोष्ठी हामी गर्दैछौँ। त्यसो भने हामी इन्भाइट गर्दाखेरि सरहरूले त्यो स्वीकार गर्नु होला भन्ने मैले विश्वास लिएको छु। यस्तो एकाडेमिक कोर्सहरू एकाडेमिया एपिएफ र एकाडेमिया रिलेसन, यसलाई नाम के दिने अब नाम हामी पछि छलफल गरौँला हजुर। एकाडेमिया र एपिएफको एउटा रिलेसन, यो चाहिँ भनौँ न ट्रेनिङ क्यालेन्डर भने जस्तो त्यो नियमित रूपमा गर्न सक्ने एउटा हामीले विकास गर्न सक्यौँ भने हामीले धेरै क्षेत्रमा यो सम्बन्धी हुँदै आएको समस्या हामीले भोग्नु पर्दैन र अरू मान्छेले सर्वसाधारण जो चाहिँ नागरिकहरू हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरूको लागि आम पुलिस फोर्सको एउटा इज्जत र मान्छेले बोल्ने ठाउँ चाहिँ कम रहन्छ भन्ने मलाई लागेको छ। यस काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका विद्यार्थी साथीहरूलाई यस कोर्समा सहभागी भई जानेका कुराहरू आफ्नो तर्फबाट आफ्नो भूमिकामा लागू गर्नु होला भन्ने पनि मैले अनुरोध गर्दछु। यो चाहिँ कसरी भने ह्युमनिटेरियन ल र ल सम्बन्धी कुनै पनि कुराहरूको त यहाँहरू ज्ञाता नै हुनुहुन्छ। हाम्रो अफसरहरू र हामीहरू भनेको त्यसमा अलिकति पढाइ पुगेको छैन, हाम्रो शिक्षा धेरै न्यून छ, कम छ। तर कस्तो भने अलिकति सिकेर अलिकति सुनेर पनि त्यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने बेलामा जिम्मेवारी चाहिँ यहाँले 3 वर्ष 4 वर्ष 10 वर्ष पढेको भन्दा बढी त्यसको रिजल्ट नतिजा चाहिँ दिनुपर्ने अवस्था हुन्छ। यस्तो अवस्थामा यहाँले पनि प्रत्यक्ष अथवा अप्रत्यक्ष रूपमा यो आम पुलिस फोर्सको अफसरहरूलाई र जनताहरूलाई पनि त्यो किसिमले चाहिँ एडभोकेसी गर्दै अलिकति पोजिटिभतिर हामी लाग्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा मलाई यो आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु। सुरक्षा निकायसँग हतियार हुन्छ, अब हतियारलाई शक्ति भन्ने एउटा ट्रेडिसनल चलन पनि थियो। त्यसकै आधारले चाहिँ जोसँग शक्ति हुन्छ उसले ह्युमन राइटको उल्लङ्घन गर्छ भन्ने एउटा मान्यता पनि छ। अब अहिले त्यसमा बिस्तारै परिवर्तन हुँदै आएको कुरा त यहाँलाई जानकारी नै छ। तैपनि सेक्युरिटी फोर्सले मानव अधिकारको उल्लङ्घन नगर्ने पक्षमा रहेर काम गर्दा गर्दै पनि धेरै पटक आरोप प्रत्यारोप पनि हुने गरेको छ। कहिलेकाहीँ काम गर्दाखेरि सानो रित नपुर्याउँदा पनि यस्ता समस्याहरू आउन सक्ने हुनाले हरेक कुराहरू पर्फेक्ट रूपमा गर्न सक्नुपर्छ भन्ने जानकारी लिनु सबैले आवश्यक छ। यस अन्तमा अघि सरबाट भएका यो तालिममा पनि उठेका थिए होला त्यो कुराहरू, ज्यादै सेन्सिटिभ बोर्डर सेक्युरिटीको कुराहरू सर्वे डिपार्टमेन्टसँग अलिकति हाम्रो क्लोज भएर काम सेन्ट्रल लेभलमा पोलिसी मेकिङ लेभलमा गर्नु अझ बढी गर्न आवश्यक छ। यसको लागि हामीले पनि हाम्रो म्यान पावरहरू एक्सपर्टहरू उत्पादन गर्नु आवश्यक छ। यसको लागि मैले माथि हाम्रो बोर्डमा कुरा राख्छु, हाम्रो अफसरहरूको माथिल्लो अफसरहरूको कुरा राख्छु छ। यसमा चाहिँ हामी केही निकास लिन्छौँ। यसको लागि सरहरूको जस्तो प्राध्यापक सरहरूको सहयोगको आवश्यकता सधैँ परि नै रहनेछ। र अन्य कुराहरू पनि यहाँहरूले यो उठेका कुराहरू सबैले प्रतिवेदन बनाएर पेस गर्नु होला। त्यो प्रतिवेदनमा का कुराहरूलाई हामीले चाहिँ पालना गर्ने र त्यसलाई लागू गर्ने प्रतिबद्धता चाहिँ त्यसमा जाहेर गर्न चाहन्छु र प्रत्येक प्रदेश तथा तालिम शिक्षाहरूबाट जुन सहभागी हुनुभएको छ तपाईँले सिकेको विषयलाई आफ्नो कमान्डको जवान तहसम्म पनि पुर्याएर कार्य सम्पादनमा उत्कृष्ट ल्याउनुहुनेछ भन्ने पनि विश्वास लिएको छु। काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ललाई हाम्रा अधिकृतहरूलाई विभिन्न शैक्षिक कार्यक्रममा सहभागी गराउनु भएकोमा हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिँदै अझ आगामी दिनहरूमा यस्ता सहभागिताको धेरै अपेक्षा समाजले गरेको कुरा पनि यसै अवसरमा जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। सशस्त्र परिवार नेपाल आगामी दिनहरूमा काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लसँग सहकार्य गर्न उत्साहित रहेको बेहोरा पनि व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। यस कार्यक्रममा सिकेका विषयहरूलाई प्रतिवेदनको रूपमा तयार गरी सम्पूर्ण सहभागी तर्फबाट सङ्गठन प्रमुखज्यू समस्या प्रतिवेदन म लगायत एउटा एकमुष्ट गरेर प्रतिवेदन पेश गर्नेछौँ र त्यसको एक्जिक्युसनको लागि पनि हामी अगाडि बढ्नेछौँ भन्ने कुरा व्यक्त गर्दछु। अन्त्यमा पुनः एकपटक काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ललाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद एवं आभार प्रकट गर्दै यस स्कुलका विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरूमा अध्ययन सफलता रहोस् र आम पुलिस अफसरहरूले पनि जुन सफलतापूर्वक सम्पन्न गर्नुभयो त्यसको लागि हार्दिक बधाई दिँदै सम्पूर्णको एउटै लक्ष्य आम नागरिकको सेवा गर्ने मौका सबैलाई मिलोस् भन्ने शुभकामना सहित व्यक्त गर्दै आफ्नो मन्तव्य यही अन्त्यमा ल्याउन चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद। जय हिन्द।
On behalf of every participant from APF, I would like to welcome Mr. Vishnu Prasad Bhattasa, who is the Superintendent of Police.
संयुक्त आयोजनामा मिति 2075 चैत 19 गतेदेखि आज 23 गतेसम्म सञ्चालन भएको यस रेजिडेन्सियल सर्टिफिकेट कोर्स एन्ड ह्युमन राइट्स एन्ड ह्युमनिटेरियन लको समापन कार्यक्रमका प्रमुख अतिथि सशस्त्र प्रहरी नेपाल मानव स्रोत विभाग तालिम निर्देशनालयका प्रमुख सचिव नायब महानिरीक्षक राजु अर्यालज्यू, काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका कार्यकारी निर्देशक प्राध्यापक डाक्टर युवराज सङ्ग्रौला सर, प्राध्यापक गीता पाठक सङ्ग्रौला म्याम, प्राध्यापक हङकङ भाना सर, सहप्राध्यापक प्रेमचन्द्र राई सर, कार्यक्रममा सहभागी सशस्त्र प्रहरी बल नेपालका अधिकृतज्यूहरू, काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका विद्यार्थीहरू र उपस्थित सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरू, सर्वप्रथम कार्यक्षेत्रमा प्रत्यक्ष उपयोगी हुने यस तालिम सञ्चालनको लागि पहल कदमी लिएकोमा सशस्त्र प्रहरी बल नेपाल तथा काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ललाई सम्पूर्ण सहभागीहरूको तर्फबाट हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। साथै यो कार्यक्रम सफलतापूर्वक सम्पन्न गर्नको लागि दिनरात खट्नुहुने काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका प्राध्यापकज्यूहरू तथा सम्पूर्ण टिमलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिँदै तालिम कार्यक्रम सफलतापूर्वक सम्पन्न गर्नुभएकोमा सम्पूर्ण सहभागी साथीहरूलाई समेत बधाई दिन चाहन्छु। सङ्घीय सरकारको महत्त्वपूर्ण सुरक्षाङ्गको रूपमा रहेको सशस्त्र प्रहरी बल नेपालका कर्मचारीहरूलाई यदाकदा मानवाधिकार उल्लङ्घनका घटनाहरूमा संलग्न भएको आरोप लाग्ने गरेको छ। मानवाधिकार उल्लङ्घनमा शून्य सहनशीलताको नीति लिएको हाम्रो जस्तो सङ्गठनलाई त्यस्तो आरोप लाग्नु कदापि राम्रो होइन। यस तालिमले आगामी दिनमा कार्य सम्पादनको दौरानमा हुने त्यस्ता कुनै पनि आरोपहरू न्यूनीकरणमा अवश्य पनि सहयोग पुर्याउने विश्वास हामी सबैले लिएका छौँ। राष्ट्र सेवाको दौरानमा राष्ट्रिय तथा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय विभिन्न परिवेशमा मानवाधिकारसँग सम्बन्धित तालिम तथा वर्कसपमा सहभागी भएको अनुभव हामीसँग रहे तापनि काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लको यो तालिमले मानवाधिकारलाई बुझ्ने तथा मनन गर्ने छुट्टै धारणा बनेको महसुस हामी सबैले गरेका छौँ। काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका कार्यकारी निर्देशक युवराज सर लगायत धेरै स्रोत व्यक्तिहरूको पुस्तक, न्युज आर्टिकल तथा अन्तर्वार्ताहरू हेर्ने अवसर प्राप्त भएको थियो। तर यसरी कक्षामा शिक्षक विद्यार्थीको रूपमा आम्ने सामने हुने र आफूलाई लागेका जिज्ञासाहरू मेटाउने अवसर प्राप्त गरेकोमा मलाई व्यक्तिगत रूपमा असाध्यै खुसी लागेको छ। साथै यस कलेजका 11 जना विद्यार्थीहरू तथा स्रोत व्यक्तिहरूसँग व्यक्तिगत चिन्जानको अवसर समेत प्राप्त भएको छ। भोलि कार्य सम्पादनको दौरानमा कुनै कानुनी जटिलता आएमा यो चिन्जान र ज्ञानले समस्या समाधानको लागि ठुलो अवसर प्रदान गर्नेछ भन्ने समेत विश्वास लिएका छौँ। तालिमको कन्टेन्ट, स्रोत व्यक्तिहरू, नमोबुद्ध फुलबारीको यो स्वच्छ तथा रमणीय वातावरण र हाइजेनिक खानपानका साथ सञ्चालित यस तालिमले हामी नेपालका विभिन्न क्षेत्रबाट आएका सशस्त्र प्रहरी अधिकृतहरूमा साँच्चै नै शारीरिक तथा मनोवैज्ञानिक पुनर्ताजगी प्राप्त भएको समेत अनुभव गरेका छौँ। यो थोरै समयावधिको तालिम भए तापनि ह्युमन राइट्सका विविध पक्षहरू, ल एन्ड डेभलपमेन्ट, ट्राफिकिङ इन बोर्डर एरियाज एन्ड रोल अफ आर्म पुलिस फोर्स, डिजास्टर म्यानेजमेन्ट एन्ड ह्युमन राइट्स, कन्भेन्सन अगेन्स्ट टर्चर, बोर्डर सिक्युरिटीका विविध आयामहरू, ethical aspect and human rights violations, civil strife and state of emergency र IHL र IHR सँगको भिन्नता एवं सम्बन्ध जस्ता विषयहरूमा गहिरो अध्ययन तथा छलफल भएको थियो। र हामीले यी विषयहरूमा आफूलाई लागेको जिज्ञासा मेटाइसकेसम्म बढी ज्ञान हासिल गर्ने कोसिस समेत गरेका थियौँ। तालिम कार्यक्रममा सहभागी काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ लका विद्यार्थीहरूमा भएको विषयवस्तुहरूको सूक्ष्म ज्ञान र अन्तर्क्रियाले हामी सबै प्रभावित एवं लाभान्वित भएको महसुस गरेका छौँ। यस अवसरमा म उहाँहरूलाई समेत हार्दिक धन्यवादका साथ उहाँहरूको उत्तरोत्तर प्रगतिको समेत कामना गर्दछु। सबै प्रकारका भिडलाई सुरक्षाकर्मीबाट एउटै खालको व्यवहार प्रदर्शन हुन नहुने, फौजका परिवारजनको मानवाधिकारको बारेमा समेत अध्ययन अनुसन्धान हुनुपर्ने, सङ्गठनले स्ट्रिमलाइन दृष्टिकोण बनाउनु पर्ने र एकजुट भई लाइन मिनिस्ट्री तथा विज्ञ सरकारवालाहरूसँग निरन्तर समन्वयमा रही आफ्ना वास्तविकता तथा समस्याहरूको जानकारी गराउने, पब्लिक रिलेसन तथा सूचना प्रभावमा नयाँ ढङ्गले लाग्नुपर्ने लगायतका सङ्गठनका लागि अति नै उपयोगी हुने थट प्रोभोकिङ विषयहरू समेत छलफलका क्रममा आए, जसले हामीलाई आयोग 9 को रूपमा काम गरी कार्यक्षेत्रमा पेशागत तवरले खर रूपमा उत्रिनु समेत मार्गनिर्देश मिलेको अनुभव गरेका छौँ। त्यसैगरी कक्षाको दौरानमा उठेको एउटा विषयमध्ये कुनै पनि सङ्गठन राम्रो हुनको लागि सङ्गठनभित्रका कर्मचारीहरू नै राम्रो हुनुपर्छ र उनीहरूले नै आफूले पहलता लिनुपर्छ भन्ने कुराले हामीलाई असाध्यै प्रभावित पारेको छ र यस अवसरमा म प्रमुख अतिथिज्यू लगायत सम्पूर्ण अतिथिज्यूहरूमा सहभागी सशस्त्र प्रहरी बलका प्रशिक्षार्थीहरूको तर्फबाट हामी आफ्नो कार्यक्षेत्रमा उत्कृष्ट ढङ्गले काम गरी सङ्गठनको साख माथि उठाउन लागि पर्ने प्रतिबद्धता समेत जाहेर गर्न चाहन्छु। अन्त्यमा पुनः एकपटक काठमाडौँ स्कुल अफ ललाई कार्यक्रमको सफल आयोजना र सिकाइ मैत्री वातावरणको लागि हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिँदै भविष्यमा समेत यस्ता कार्यक्रमहरूमा सहभागी हुने अवसर प्राप्त हुनेछ भन्ने अपेक्षाका साथ बिदा हुन्छु। धन्यवाद। जय नेपाल।
Thank you, sir. Now moving ahead with the schedule, we have the certificate distribution program. Kathmandu School of Law and Armed Police Force Nepal would like to congratulate all the participants for their successful completion of the program. So, to hand over the certificates, I would like to request the chief guest of the program, respected Raju Aryal sir and Professor Dr. Sangrola, to award the participants with certificates.
DSP, inspector, and also sub-inspector, and also Kathmandu School of Law's students of different levels, and assistant professor. I wanted the most important person should be spelled out at the end, but I should regard also Ravi and Raksha. I should not be long because we are getting late, and we have been discussing a lot during this session, in and out, even outside, and during lunch time, breakfast time, and dinner time. So I would like to assure that the knowledge, the expansion of knowledge, has not been limited within the classrooms. At the outset of this program, the very important thing which have been highlighted by the previous speaker, the most important thing is the attitude. What attitude do we have? Whatever the content we have we been able to realize those content and introspect those content? And the knowledge is not limited within the books. Knowledge is not limited within what we have been learning. And the achievement is not just the degree that we have received right now. We will keep these degrees inside the drawer, and after some times maybe we forget that how many degrees do we have. And what is most important is the positive vibe, and whatever we have learned, and then we are whether we are ready to go with this skill or not. Nobody is perfect, but everybody is special. This is what that in the beginning I have said, that provided we are ready to share our speciality or not. The security force is actually emerging, and we have very emotional bonding with armed police force from the very inception. This is why and how that I personally, on behalf of Kathmandu School of Law, also have been taking our students, not just national but international students, at armed police force, and the armed police force has been always accepting our request and providing support by taking class, and we also the refreshment. And thank you very much, Rajoria sir. Please convey this also to institution that we have actually developed this bonding. And this is how that we have been able to organize this kind of program. This is beginning, and definitely, as Yuvraj sir rightly mentioned, that this program, maybe we can start as a peanut discussion, and we can actually go along with the basic and advanced, and more importantly, the refreshment course, even for all the personnel, irrespective of any height, because learning is never ending. Learning is never ending, but the style and art is definitely different. Like, we will start with the basic, and I came to know, and I have personally been very much enlightened with the discussion, especially at the end we did discuss a large number of issues. And if a person who has been serving for the nation lacks social justice and social security, it would be very difficult to go ahead with defending the country and defending the civilian and defending at international level. हामीले के भनेका थियौं भने अक्सिजन मास्क लगाउने, अक्सिजन मास्कको कुरामा पनि फ्लाइटमा के भनिन्छ भने पहिला आफूलाई लगाउनुस् अनि त्यसपछि बच्चा र आफूसँग भएका डिपेन्डेन्टलाई लगाउनु भनिन्छ. If we do not have this kind of capability, if we do not have this kind of security, it would definitely be very difficult. And what we have learned is a level of frustration among the security forces is very high. Why? This should not happen. It should not happen that actually, the moment you have entered until the end, we have to have this, we should not have any level of layer of frustration. But why have we been discussing this frustration? Because of the socio-economic security, because of the perception from the people, because of the NGOs and those so-called stakeholders not really responding and giving and acknowledging our whatever we have been doing 24/7. 24/7, and still we have been very much criticized. That means amalgamated, actually, that I really like that. We have been talking that citizen in uniform for security forces and citizen without, police without uniform for civilians. But how far have we been able to discuss and then internalize this value? Always have been criticized, from Human Rights Watch to Amnesty International to forget about international organizations, even the organizations whom we have welcomed in our institution to collect data and to work together. Going outside, Nepalima भनिन्छ सियो भएर बस्ने फाली भएर निस्कने. And bringing our matters without consulting to the Human Rights Committee and many other committees by saying that our security forces are in the violation of human rights. And we have been giving this space to those. At least Kathmandu School of Law has come out all this from psyche, and we have joined hand because we have strong feeling that everyone is the state. Role and responsibility is different, but everyone is the state. And this is what we have imparted on our students, that to work with the security forces, and we are privileged and honored. We are deeply honored working with different agencies of Nepal, especially with the security forces, more importantly with the armed police force. In many projects that we have joined hand, because we have strong belief that without peace and security, justice is not prevailed, rule of law is not prevailed. For that, we have to go ahead with the legal reform, institutional reform, and procedural reform. This is what this very morning, Associate Professor Prem Chandra Rai highlighted. So we can go ahead with what we have learned. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for your sharing. Thank you very much for listening us. And thank you so much for Chief Guest this is what we have been saying, that you represent Raju Aryal sir, you represent the entire armed police force. So even the IGP could not come, we understand, because this is not only one program, there are many programs going on simultaneously. But you have been able to attain and represent on behalf of armed police force, and we are deeply honored for you. Thank you very much. We are always here, Kathmandu School of Law's professor, but still one person who has been dedicated for everything from construction to teaching to writing to consultation to advisor, Professor Dr. Yuvraj Sangrola. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hong Kong sir. And thank you very much, Prem sir. And all the participants, thank you so much. And thank you very much, sir. From the very beginning, you along with Raksha have been preparing for all these things. We are just the support hand sometimes, occasionally, but you two have done a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Vishnuji, because you have documented, but I have been saying that this document is not actually to expose, but where appropriate, where relevant, we have these documents, we keep it for the public purpose, but not the discussion. We have not recorded any internal discussion, but we will definitely, as we have seen that we will prepare the report, we will also provide some points, because we have worked, this program is jointly organized. We heard one thing, agi baniyo, स्वास्थ्यवर्धक खाना, हावा पनि राम्रो, खाना पनि राम्रो, वातावरण पनि मनोहर, अनि त्यसमाथि एउटा कुरा त हामीले भुसुक्कै बिर्सेछौँ कि आर्म पुलिस फोर्सको राजु अर्याल सरलाई म भन्दैछु कि हजुरको हाम्रो संस्थाभित्र चाहिँ ट्यालेन्टको चाहिँ खानी नै रहेछ, चाहे खेल खेलाउने क्रममा होस्, त्यसले पनि लेसन दिएको थियो, कम्युनिकेसनको गेम हामीले खेल्यौँ, कविता कति राम्रा राम्रा कविता, दोहरी, अघि दोहरी खेल्ने साथीको चाहिँ वास्तवमा कसरी त्यो एनर्जी आएको रहेछ भन्दाखेरि त्यो बुट ढक 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 गर्दाखेरि त्यो बुटको आवाज सँगसँगै थियो, दोहरी पनि खेल्यौँ, फ्याकल्टीलाई पनि गाना गाउन लगाइयो, विद्यार्थीहरूले पनि धेरै रमाइलो यो एउटा कल्चरल सोलिडारिटी, दिस इज अल्सो काइन्ड अफ लर्निङ. थ्याङ्क यू सो मच. अनि सानोको खानाको त हामी कायल नै छौँ, हजुरहरूले पनि महसुस गर्नुभयो होला. सानु, नारायण र हाम्रो एन्टायर सिक्युरिटी फोर्स कोठा सफा गर्नेदेखि लिएर कम्तीमा कोठाभित्र पस्दाखेरि ठुसुक्क गनाउने जस्तो कहिले पनि हुँदैन. भलै यो 5 स्टार होटेलको बसाइ भएन, टोयलेट बाहिर थियो, यद्यपि त्यो टोयलेट पनि भित्रै भएर फेरि 5 स्टार होटेलकै जस्तो बसाइ पनि भित्र, त्यो कोठाको स्टाइल पनि त्यही भयो भने फेरि यहाँ आउनु र यहाँ बस्नुको फेरि मजा नै हामीले लिन सक्दैनौँ. टोयलेट जाँदाखेरि अलिअलि डर स्याल आइहाल्छ कि भन्दा हजुरहरूलाई त धेरै लागेन होला, तर मलाई अलिअलि लाग्थ्यो. म बेलुका 6 बजी पछाडि पानी नै पिउँदैन थिएँ, तर अहिले मलाई पनि त्यो डर गएको छ. साथी, hands do deserve our extend our thanks. Thank you very much.
This residential school began with a question where, after all, the universal human right began. And by the end of the program, we came into the conclusion that it began in a very small place, close to home. So close and so small that no any map in this world could identify its location. And as Eleanor Roosevelt rightly said that unless these rights are protected or unless these rights have meaning there, it has no meaning anywhere. So to honor the presence of our chief guest, respected DIG Raju Aryal sir, I would like to request Professor Gita Pathak Sangrola ma'am to honor him with this appreciation.